And good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs bite.
No, no.
You want to hear another story?
Yeah.
But it's a school night. So? All right, fine. I'm such a pushover. Gosh. Okay, what kind of story do you want to hear?
Funny one.
Oh, like a fairy tale of our times, white picket fence, American dream, young woman, young man we all hope to be someday?
No,
Yeah?
no.
Well, too bad. That's what you're getting. Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful young woman, pretty as a day in June. A young man stood by her side, smart as a whip and handsome as a polo horse. The two met in high school and fell in love on a merry day in May. And before long, the young man dropped to his knee, pulled a diamond out of his pocket, and won the young woman's hand in marriage.
It's story time.
Oh, moving right along. With the blessings of their compatible...
Miss Storyteller.
Excuse me a moment. Yes, what is it?
We didn't meet in high school.
Yeah, you did. It says over here.
We met in a bar.
And we did it off and on for 5 years while she experimented with foreigners.
Oh, nice. So for the sake of our purposes, let's just say you met in high school, shall we? Anyway, with the blessings of their compatible families, the young man and woman were soon to be bride and groom.
Wait a minute. As I recall, you kept breaking it off.
What?
Yeah, then you called me back the minute I had a new boyfriend.
And you certainly didn't waste any time jumping into the arms of the first guy that had an accent.
Shh, let's not argue in front of the impressionable youngsters.
By all means, don't let our issues get in your way.
I never realized you were a racist.
I'm not. I was fine with the fact that she slept with a black man.
You're assuming that the term racism automatically refers to African Americans. Isn't that a form of racism itself?
Excuse me, ma'am, sir, can you please close your mouth so I can get back to the story? Thank you.
By all means, don't let our silly issues get in your way.
Look, will you just play along? These kids have their whole lives to be disillusioned later, so let's just have a nice bedtime story, okay? Okay. As I was saying, kids, excuse me. The young man and young woman were soon to be bride and groom and started on the wedding preparations. They got married in a beautiful church,
Drive through a chapel in Vegas.
followed by an elegant wedding reception at an old inn in Vermont.
Backroom Stardust Lounge.
And the bride, well, she put Martha Stewart to shame as she had the whole evening designed to the last detail.
That really sounds like you.
From the linen napkins to the centerpieces of purple freesia and Italian ruscus.
I think she was invited to someone else's wedding.
And why is she always assuming that the bride has all the taste? Doesn't anyone know that the groom might want to participate? I worked my way through law school as a floral designer. That's how I know Frischer's all wrong for a centerpiece, except maybe as an accent flower.
You were a floral designer?
You gotta base your arrangements on more substantial bloom, like an orchid or a lily.
Brad, is there something you want to tell me?
Actually, there's something I want to tell these kids so they can get to bed at a decent hour. The story! But you guys keep on interrupting about this and that. So, you know what? Can you just read the story? It's happy hour, didn't I?
Well, huffy huff huff then.
So the bride and groom had their flawless reception for 300 guests at a turn-of-the-century inn in Vermont,
We're not from Vermont. We've never even been to Vermont.
at which they had a delightful time.
So, is there something that I want to tell you?
Immediately following the splendid reception,
I know there's something you've been honest with me about, with yourself about.
Like what?
the bride at the tender age of 24.
Because
What? What is so funny?
she's not even close to 24.
Wait a minute. Oh, now wait a minute here, Buster Brown. Whose story is this?
Ours.
Wrong. This is a fairy tale and I'm going for prototype.
But I'm 35.
Well, in this story, you're 24. The average American woman gets married at 24.
How old does that make him then?
27. Why? How old is he really?
I'm the one that's 24.
It's not really young to be getting married.
How come 24 is okay for me, but not for him?
Because you're the woman. You're supposed to be younger.
Jesus.
Now, before I was interrupted for the umpteenth time, boys and girls, I was saying that our 24-year-old bride was whisked away in a horse-drawn carriage by our 27-year-old Prince Charming.
Whisked away where?
I don't know, to the airport.
Which one?
The airport of Vermont.
There's one in Montclair and there's one in Burlington.
And how did you know that? that.
I majored in geography.
You did.
Yeah. Still Mr. Know-It-All. Which one was it?
The one where you caught a flight to Hawaii for your honeymoon.
This whole fairy tale is like completely out of hand. Anyone knows there's no flights from Vermont to Hawaii. You have to go through Logan or LAX or both. And anyways, I'd highly advise horses into that terminal.
For God's sake, what's the big deal with telling these nice little children a story?
Nothing. None of these kids are going to live up to those expectations. They can't. It's way too much pressure. I mean, it's why Catholic women are all messed up. You can't be a virgin and be a mother. And Brad, let's be real, I probably should have married you to begin with.
Shayna, how can you say
You're
that?
probably gay.
What?
Yeah, I mean, how many straight male floor designers do you know?
So that's what you thought I needed to be honest about.
Listen, you didn't even know I majored in geography. If we're talking averages here, most people don't get married in Vermont. They get married in their one-horse hometowns that have Walmarts and bad zoning.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. That's my point. Most people do get married in their one-horse hometowns. They get, oh, dang it.
Shoot on the spouses.
They cheat on their spouses, or they end up in counseling, or they spend all their money to get into some lousy nursing home. I mean, put that in your fairy tale and smoke it.
No one's smoking anything. There are children here.
And God forbid we tell them what life is really like.
And she's opening herself up for a class action multi-suit.
Fine, I've had it. You want the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. The whole enchilada, the variable hook, line, and sinker. Well, far be it for me to give some of these little souls something to which to aspire to.
Do it.
Do it then.
I'm such a pushover. Once upon a time in a trailer park not so far away, there lived a young woman approaching middle age who drank a lot of brandy and smoked a pack a day.
Alright.
Hung out in places where they threw peanut shells on the floor.
Alright already.
And a young, but slightly feminine man who took it up the ass once from a fellow Eagle Scout. But since it only happened once when he was 17 and drunk off Kahula, he still considers himself straight.
Hey.
And the man and woman met at a bar one night where they got drunk and slept at her place afterwards. The woman felt guilty about the one-night stand, so she felt that she needed to make a legitimate relationship out of the encounter to justify the sex, even though she prefers black men. To stay deep in the dark closet, the man proposed to the woman, and since she's 35, and let's face it, not getting any younger, the woman accepted his pathetic offer because it was a real ego boost to have snagged a hot stud 11 years younger than she. Although he's really gay. Although the man offered to plan the entire wedding, the woman insisted on hiring a horse-drawn carriage to drop them off at the airport of Vermont, which they took 6 connecting flights to Las Vegas to get married to an Elvis impersonator. To celebrate, they showed up at the Stardust Lounge, where they bought all the bar patrons Cheeseball Budweiser. When they got back home in Weehawken, New Jersey, the man, unable to suppress his inner self for a moment longer, took up with the drag queen from Soho.
Oh, no.
And the bride, realizing she wouldn't be a mother, consoled herself with vodka and Xanax, and died a tragic death by an accidental overdose. The groom, now 27, took up wearing cowboy hats and chaps, and made the unfortunate mistake of moving to Wyoming on business, where he was drugged by a 4x4 by a bunch of homophobic rednecks. The drag queen wrote a show about the 3 of them when she played all 3 parts. Won a Genius Grand Award and landed her own cable TV access in New York. I bid you good night, farewell, good night, sweet dreams, children, the end.
Mr. Storyteller, you can tell a difference